Who is me? The self. If you are really serious about this question and think about it a little more, then you will come to know that whatever you are now is just accumulation of knowledge. For example, what you are is the collection of multiple things like your name, your knowledge, past incidents, name of your parents, your education, your achievements, and so on, so forth. This is the me we all have. So if we put all these aside, can you say who you are? Of course, no. How can you describe yourself? There is no way. You cannot say your name, your qualifications, your achievements to describe yourself. So, what exactly you are? Let's dive deep into this question to find a right answer. Who am I? The question, who am I, has no answer, it is unanswerable. Many answers will come to you from your thinking. Your brain will declare to you, you are the very essence of existence. You are the soul of eternity. You're a god, etc. All of those responses must be rejected. Neti, as Upanishads calls it. How to know thyself? How to explain who am I? There is nothing that can be said about one's real self, or whatever is said will be incorrect. It is false to state anything about it. It's the ultimate mystery, indescribable and unfathomable. There are no sufficient words to explain it. Even the phrase, essence of life, falls short, even God falls short. Nothing comes close to expressing how I feel. Its fundamental essence is indescribable. However, you are aware. You are well aware of the seed's ability to grow. Not in the way that a professor knows chemistry, physics, geography, or history, but in the way that a bud knows how to open in the early morning sun. Not like the priest who knows everything there is to know about God, he goes around in circles. The bush beats about the bush when it comes to knowledge. Knowing is a direct assault. And you vanish as a separate thing the instant you directly penetrate existence. You are no longer alive. When the knower is no longer present, the knowing takes over. And the knowing isn't about anything. You are that knowing. As a result, the meaning of I in the query, who am one, cannot be determined. It's meaningless. It's only a gadget to guide you into the unknown, into the undiscovered, to guide you into that which the mind cannot see. It's a blade that slashes the mind's fundamental roots, leaving only the silence of no mind behind. There is no question, no answer, no knower, no known, only knowing, only experiencing in that silence. That's why mystics seem to have such a hard time expressing it. Many of them have remained silent because they know that everything they say would backfire. It goes bad the instant you say it. Those who have spoken have done so on the condition that you do not cling to our words. What is the goal of life? The fact is that the human life has no purpose, no goal, no meaning. Not just human life, every life on this earth is born without having any objective, any goal. Understanding that life has no meaning, no goal, no purpose is extremely difficult, especially for the Western mind. It's also lovely that it's pointless. If it's for a good reason, the whole thing becomes nonsensical. Who will decide what that good reason is? Then some god must be created who determines the goal, and humans will be reduced to puppets, no freedom will be conceivable. And if life has a purpose, it becomes businesslike rather than euphoric. The West has been thinking about purpose, whereas the East has been thinking about meaninglessness. Life, according to the East, is a play, not a business. A play, on the other hand, has no actual purpose, it is purposeless. Alternatively, you may reply that play is sufficient in and of itself. Life is not about achieving a goal, rather, life is the goal. It is not progressing towards some ultimate. Life is ultimate right now, in this now. In the East, life is accepted as it is. It is not advancing toward a goal, since if there is a goal, who will decide what that goal is and why? If God decides, then the same question about God can be asked: what is the purpose of creating a world with purpose? Why should he create a purposeful world? Or, why should he create a purposeful world? Or, to put it another way, what is the point of God's existence? Perhaps life has a purpose, which God determines, but then God's existence must be questioned. Why does he exist? And the question is simply pushed one step further. Then God becomes meaningless, or you have to invent a new God to determine what this God's purpose is. Then you'll be stuck in a loop ad infinitum, with no way out. You'll have to admit somewhere deep down that this phenomenon has no purpose, otherwise, there will be no end. So, what is the point of going from the world to God? Why not declare that life is meaningless in and of itself? In some ways, the whole game of logicians and theologians is silly. God created the world, they claim, because how could the world exist if there was no one who created it? However, if you ask, who made the God? They will fall apart on their own. God is uncreated, they declare. Why can't this life exist without being formed, if God can exist without being made? What's the big deal if you believe that something can exist without being created? So, what's the point of thinking about a God who created the universe? God, according to the East, is not the maker, but the creation. It exists despite the fact that no one made it. It has always been that way, and it always will be that way, sometimes manifest, sometimes unmanifest, visible, sometimes unseen. It continues to move in a circle, in a periodic pattern. Existence, on the other hand, is uncreated and has no purpose.